Public servants are still getting pay rises. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have my morning stein of coffee and I thought we'd have a look at this article from The Australian because, frankly, it seems like it should be an April Fool's joke, but I really think the joke is going to be on all of us. People were asking, someone made a comment, why didn't you do an April Fool's episode? Because we're living in a clown world, everyone. We're living in a bloody clown world. So, Queensland public servants get a pay rise as other workers are doing it tough. Queensland public servants. You know, that our servants, I'm going to bring up a chart here. This is a wage growth chart. You can see at the bottom there are two lines. One is the wage price index for the public sector year on year, the growth, and the other one is the private sector. So red is public, purple is private. Notice the difference, guys. Notice the difference. So I guess it pays. It pays to be a member of the public servant class. Perhaps our new priestly class in this dystopian social justice world that we're all about to live in. Is anyone else noticing how fast and how easy it was for Australia to quickly become a police state, essentially? We're in a soft version of martial law right now. We really are. People can't even go to the park now without the police moving them on their way. People are getting fined. We'll have to see, guys. We'll have to see. But the public servants are calling for it all because they're still getting bloody pay rises. It just shows you they are completely removed from reality. Businesses are going under. People are losing their livelihoods that they've worked on for their whole life because of government orders. And yet the government public servants are not feeling any of the brunt. Oh no, they may have to stay home. Oh, diddums. I mean, would it really, for most of them, judging by my experience seeing some of them in the works department, would it be any different to sitting at a desk in the office to sitting at a desk at home doing nothing? But maybe that's just my bias. So Queensland's 224,000 state public servants are set to receive a pay rise totaling more than 3% as others in the workforce endure static income levels or cuts, wage cuts, reduced hours, unpaid stand-downs or job losses because of the economic impact of the illness. So they're still getting pay rises. You know, workers across the Queensland public sector are participating in an all-staff ballot that opened last week to approve a 2.5% increase plus a one-off cash payment of $1,250. So much for everyone suffering together. Maybe they should have. You know, they're doing it. You know, last week. Let's see. Let's see if the workers will vote, no, now's the time for us not to get that. Do you reckon they will, guys? Do you think they will? The increases detailed in a proposed enterprise agreement between Anastasia Palaszczuk's government and Together Queensland, the union representing state public servants, comes as some highly paid business executive and sporting stars accept pay cuts of 20 to 50% forced on them by the illness-triggered economic downturn. I don't care about them, to be honest. They're not the ones that matter. It's the mum and dad, the small businesses that are having to shut down, lay off all their staff. It's the people that are saying in the comments, I'm ruined, my business is gone. We are quite lucky, to be honest, in our position that we are. We had our own, economic issues a year ago where I had to just scale back the business just to the bone. So I'm running on an oily rag now. And frankly, the business is more profitable with 2 staff than it was with more, over 10 staff. But that's a lesson you have to learn. But this is a little different in some regards because this is the state just shutting everything down. And yet, these servants are still getting a pay rise. The optics of this is terrible. If they really cared, the union should have stepped in and said, no, we're delaying this for a year. Boom, it's happening. But they don't care. They're selfish. That's what it is. They're a protected class, guys. They're a protected class. And people wonder why the public service is so full of contractors. It's because it's the only way you can get rid of these people. Once they're in there in these positions, you can't get rid of them. You can't. They're too protected. They've got job security. It's a fantasy world. The Liberal National Party, opposition, and the state's small business group are highly critical of increases for public servants whose employment appears guaranteed by the state government while private sector jobs remain in jeopardy, or reliant on the Morrison government's $1,500 a fortnight wage subsidy. I mean, that's it. All public servants should be reduced immediately to $1,500. Why not? That'll be a tax saving. Do it. Just do it. Put up with it. Bloody hell. If someone who has a business and it's taken away from them through no fault of their own, and then they have to depend on this to keep their team together, why can't all our civil servants taste it as well? Let me know your opinions on that in the comments, guys. Alex Scott, General Secretary of Together Queensland, a branch of the Australian Services Union, dismissed any suggestions public servants' pay rises should be postponed or cancelled, and said he did not expect the deal to be called off, not at this stage. Well, there you go. Told you, they don't care. They don't give a shit about the optics. They don't care about what's happening to other people in the country. They're just selfishly about their own members. And, I mean, you've got all the union fanboys, you know, going, oh, it's the best thing. It's all this fantasy of what it does. They're just another big business. They're no different to other big corporations, except they make their money off dues and off creating a labour cartel and controlling that cartel. That's what they do. This is why you don't have competition in the union sector. They won't allow it. They don't want competing businesses. It's kind of worse than big business, because big business, there is competition. There should be in the market between other ones. That's what you want, a free market. If you're going to have organised labour, have organised competition in the labour. Have unions competing with each other. But they'll never do that. They'll never do that. Because if they were any good at doing those things and competing and running businesses, they wouldn't go slide into a union job. The union chief said while Queensland public servants were still working many hours from home with no standoffs or layoffs, they were not immune from the illness crisis because they were married or had relationships with people in the private sector experiencing financial difficulties after cuts to work hours or losing their jobs. What bullshit is this? What utter bullshit is this? What about people who are whole families that are in the private sector? This is why, guys, this is why people don't trust the unions. And most of them are, the majority members, middle-aged women. Our members are doing it tough financially, Mr. Scott said. Everyone in the country is doing it tough financially. Who cares? The Commonwealth is looking at priming the economy because everyone is struggling, and the public sector is more reliant on wage rises than they normally would be. What? The economy is struggling because it's in lockdown because government enforced closures. You can't even have more than 2 people in a bloody car now. Or you can't even have 2 people in a car. I don't know what these stupid rules are. It's getting ludicrous. It really is. Mr. Scott said it was not certain yet that all public servants would receive pay increases under the deal, and more discussions were needed with Queensland Industrial Relations Minister Grace Grace and Treasurer Jackie Trad before he could be confident. I hope we get rid of this lot. I've met Grace Grace. I wasn't impressed. And Trad, I mean, just her whole debacle of her husband buying a, property right near the train line. That's another issue entirely. Well, I just had a light fall down, guys. I'm testing some new lighting. Tell me how you think it works. Tell me how you think it works. I think I need to clamp it down. So, the wage deal for Queensland public servants based on union government negotiations that started last year also provides further 2.5% increases over a 4-year period, totaling 10% by 2022. Here's a question. Here's a statement to you. The politicians, particularly the Labor ones, they have a conflict of interest in providing pay rises to unionists because they're their members. They're spending government money. Majority of it isn't from their constituents. I'd say most of it isn't from their support base. And they're providing, just handing out money to the unions. Maybe these contracts, the government shouldn't even be involved in the negotiation because they've got too much of a conflict of interest. We need another body that's made up of business leaders, citizens, and a whole broad spectrum. I'm probably recreating the government again, but we need a separate party. We need something. We need another house in Queensland, in the Senate here in Queensland. We don't have a Senate anymore, so they get all this shit through. This has just gotten me annoyed. So many people are struggling. People are killing themselves because of what's going on. A spokesman for Miss Grace said no, so she's not even married, said no state public servants were expected to lose their jobs because of the pandemic. But there were still ongoing discussions about pay rise negotiations for public servants. I don't think anything is set in stone, he said. The union provided a copy of its core agreement in an online circular in February that urged a yes vote. Of course it did, including a letter from Miss Grace on the $1,250 bonus. Yeah, that's just BS as well. That's just BS as well. After all, our license, rego, everything goes up in Queens. I'd rather they ditch this and reduce fuel excise. You know, it's too much of a conflict of interest. They're just handing out money to their base. The government is the state's largest employer, and that alone, that should be the most concerning bloody thing. Our state government is in debt, is in significant debt. Let alone even looking at just the federal debt and the whole bloody, stimulus package is just piling more debt onto everything. That should be the biggest concern. That's why Australia is a bloody primitive country. Okay? We mine dirt out of the ground, we quarry it, and we flip houses. That's it. There's no innovation. Why would you innovate? Why would anyone innovate? Why would anyone risk starting a business up now when you can get a bloody government job, still get pay rises when the whole economy is turned down with no risk to you? Why? No liability, no risk, no bloody responsibility. Serious. It's ludicrous. You can stuff up entirely. Like, just look at the whole bloody payrolls debacle that happened here in Queensland a few years ago. Doesn't matter, you're protected. This is the problem, guys. This is the problem. And this is just a microcosm of what happens. It wasn't real socialism. This is just a taste of it right here. You can see you've got the ruling class, the inner party members, the parasites leeching on the party, getting their just desserts. And it just expands to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's happened every bloody time in history. So with 223,704 full-time positions and more than 500 corporate and media advisor positions. Oh, bloody hell. According to figures released last year. The employee cost accounted for 42% of the state government spending. There you go, 42%. And we're just digging a hole. There should be no pay rises for any servants of the public until the government is out of debt. Newman tried to sort it out. What happened? So, the 2019-2020 budget said public sector wages were expected to total $25.4 billion, a 5.4% increase on the previous 12 months. And yet another article where there's no bloody discussion of the level of debt that the government has in. This money isn't magic from nowhere. Everything is being ignored. Well, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. You think this is fair? Or you think they should just be mandatory, all locked in, including the Premier, $1,500 a fortnight? What do you reckon, guys? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And also let me know what you think of my new lighting system. I might need to clamp some things. Thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and you want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or on Patreon. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay for your consumer purchases, or our referral links at Independent Reserve or Kucoin for the crypto traders out there. We have merch from HeiseSays or Teespring. We have PayPal for direct donations, and Gold Pass if you want to send us gold. Take care, guys. Have a great day. and, get those guaranteed safe government jobs. This one's pissed me off. I'll see you later.